Hi, I got a Kia Soul. It's a 2016. It's got a 1.6 liter engine in it, and I just got through finished changing the transmission fluid in it. I typically make Cadillac videos, but I could not believe what I had to go through to find out, number one, the information how to do this. Number two, I could not believe what Kia at the dealership charges to change out the transmission fluid. And number three, all the information or lack of information that's out there for this car. So I was pulling my hair out to get the information and also to make sure I'm using the right transmission fluid. And I could not, like I said, I could not believe what I had to go through. So I thought I'd make a video to help you guys out so you can save some big money, because Kia at the dealership, the last quote that I got was $300 to change out the transmission fluid. And it's very simple. If you can change your oil, you could do this. It's a couple of more steps, but very easy. Very little tools. You could do it yourself, believe me. I usually do Cadillac videos, and I was just going to change it. I was going to make a video, but I could not believe the disinformation that's out there on YouTube. A lot of it was well-intended, well-meaning, but they left a lot of information out. And another thing, there's no dipstick in here. There's no way of you knowing if there's the right amount of transmission fluid or if you're running low or not. So you got to be kind of on top of it. They say it's a closed system, that you don't have to service it, but I don't think that's true. The owner's manual says to change out the transmission fluid every 40 to 60,000 miles. So I don't know if it was done or not, so I decided to do it myself. Again, I could not get any information. The dealership's not going to tell you anything. The guys, when you go into a parts store, those guys, know Chevys, Fords, those kind of cars. But when it comes to foreign cars, they really don't know. So with all the information I had to go through, I decided to make this video to help you guys, because you can save some big money. It only costs $17 for the oil. Very basic tools. You could do it yourself. Believe me, if you can change your oil, you can do this. Don't be intimidated. It's very simple. So watch the video and I'll show you how to change out your transmission fluid. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the transmission fluid that you want to use. You can go out and buy the factory Kia brand transmission fluid. It's an SP4. You're going to need 4 quarts. They go for about $20 on up. That price is for each quart. So that can add up pretty quick. Or you can get this Valvoline Max Life multi-vehicle transmission fluid. If you look in the back here, on the very bottom, there's a part number. The part number is 773775. That's what you want to get. And what you also want to do is look above there. You're going to see, it's going to say Kia SP Roman numeral 4. That's what you're looking for, as you can see in the red arrows. Now, I looked everywhere online, and the people that are using this type of oil have never had any problems with it. So I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Now, you're going to like this. This Valvoline goes for 17 bucks for 4 quarts. Why would you want to pay any more? Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to pop your hood, or you can leave your hood down, either way, but you want to set your ramps in front of your front tires, and you want to roll up on the ramp so you can get ready to work underneath. I find this a lot easier than jacking your car up and putting jack stands on, and it's a lot faster. Now that we have that done, let's get started. Now we're going to take out this black box here. This is where our air filter's in. To the left side here, we've got 2 10mm screws we're going to unscrew. One is for this air duct tube, and on the bottom here there's a 10mm screw that we're going to have to remove so we can start to take our box out. Okay, what I have here is a 3/8 ratchet, a 3/8 extension, and a 10mm socket. Like I said, doing this job requires very, very little tools. Okay, let's loosen up this screw so we can take this air intake hose out of the way. Okay, let's pull it apart. And now let's go to the bottom and take out that 10mm bolt. Okay, as you can see here, I removed that bolt. Now we're going to go on the other side of this box and unsnap two latches. You could do this with your fingers. There's one here. And there's one here. You can see how I unsnap them. Once you have them unsnapped, go ahead and pull up on the box to remove it. Once you've removed it, you can see the air filter. Looks clean on this side, but it looks like it's a little dirty on the other side with all the leaves and stuff. It still looks pretty good. All I need is to put some air to it and blow it out to clean it. Okay, now we're going to take the bottom part of that box out. Here's a 10mm screw you're going to have to remove. For me, removing this one, the screw was a little tight, so I had to put a little more muscle into it. But it comes out. Okay, in order for us to remove that box, we're going to have to remove this other box first. We're going to have to remove these two plastic clips. Now don't get intimidated by these. These are really easy to take out. All you need is a small flat screwdriver. You're going to push up that center piece and pull it out. Once you have it out, then you can remove the bottom plastic piece as shown. Now that we've removed the two clips, we can pull this box up and out of the way. Now that we have that out of the way, we can remove the other box that's on the bottom there, as shown. Here I'm just showing you what that bottom box looks like, where all the snaps are in the 10mm hole where the bolt goes in. Make sure you dust this and clean it really good so when you put it back it's all nice and clean. Now that we have everything out of the way, we can see the transmission. We're going to remove this screw here. Now keep in mind this is a plastic screw, so be very careful when you remove it. Take your 3/8 extension and go ahead and remove it. Now that you remove the plastic screw, this is where you're going to put your funnel to fill your transmission with transmission oil. But first we need to drain the oil. So let's go underneath and see what you're going to do next. So as you can see, you can't see anything because they have this plastic protective cover underneath. It's here to protect the bottom part of the engine in case a rock kicks up. This is what it looks like when you remove it. But don't get intimidated, this is really easy to remove. Here's a drawing so you can easily visualize what you're going to do. As you can see, I've put red and green arrows here. The red arrows are plastic clips like you removed up on top, remember? It's kind of the same thing.
The green arrows are 10mm screws. So you have 4 plastic clips in the front. You're going to remove those first. And you have 6 10mm screws that you're going to remove. Once you have it removed, it comes right out. It's really easy. Here's mine removed. It looks pretty beat up. You can pick these things up for anywhere from 15 to 50 bucks depending where you go. I may think about getting another one. Okay, you're going to look now on the driver's side, and you're going to look in the transmission area. You can see all this aluminum here, and you're going to look for a 24mm screw. It's right here. Now if you look up in this area here, you're going to see this black screw or clip that you're going to remove. We'll get back to that later. Okay, right about now you want to get your oil pan ready to catch the transmission fluid that's going to come out of here. Now get your 24mm box wrench. You want to use a box wrench, that way you don't strip this nut. It looks pretty thin. As you can see, there's hardly anything to bite onto. That's why you want to use a box wrench. It does a better job. You can see I've already broken it loose, but go ahead and unscrew it and make sure you have your pan in position to catch the fluid. Take your time so you don't get real messy. You can't see it here on the video right now, but the bolt you just removed is magnetized, so make sure you wipe off and clean the debris that's on there, any little metal shavings or little pieces of metal that are on there. Make sure it's all nice and clean before you reinstall it. Once it gets to a point where it's dripping, we can go ahead and put the plug back in. As you can see, I cleaned it really good, so make sure you got it really clean so there's nothing on there. Go ahead and screw it back in. And tighten it up. Get it nice and snug, but don't over tighten it. Remember, you're screwing into aluminum. Now we're going to remove this overflow plug. This also is made out of plastic, so be careful how you remove it. It's not a screw, it's sort of like a clip. You're going to take your 3/8 ratchet and you're going to turn it counterclockwise. As you can see, it's like a clock. You got 3 and 9 o'clock position. You can see those 2 wings on it. You're going to turn it to where the 3 o'clock turns into 10 o'clock, if that makes any sense. You're just going to give it like a quarter of a turn, just a little over a quarter of a turn. And once you've done that, it unclips and you can pull it right out. Again, it's not like a screw. It's like a clip that you just turn and it unclips. You can see there's no threads on here. Okay, this is part of the problem that I had looking at some of the other YouTube videos on how to replace the transmission fluid. They said to drain it and measure how much fluid drained out and then replaced what you drained out. So if I drained out 3 quarts, you put in 3 quarts back in the transmission. To some people that makes sense, but the problem is what if your transmission is burning a little transmission fluid? So if the transmission takes 3.5 quarts, but you only poured out 3 quarts, and you only put back in 3 quarts, you can see that there's a problem there. So how do you know that when you're putting in transmission fluid, because remember, you don't have a dipstick, that you have the right amount? Well, I'm going to show you that later. Right now, I just want to know how much transmission fluid was originally in there. Now, the manufacturer says about 3.5 quarts. And as you can see, as I'm pouring it out, I have about 3.25 quarts. So I was approximately low about 1/4 quart. Okay, now it's time to put the transmission fluid in. If you got someone around that can help you, it'll be a lot easier, but you can still do it by yourself. What you're going to do is you're going to stick your funnel into the top there where you remove that screw up on top of the transmission, right where the green arrow's at. Now you're slowly going to fill it. So it's going to take about 3.5 quarts. So when you get it in the 3-quart area, you want to start pouring really slow. As you're pouring, you want to check below where that clip that you removed. And once it starts to overflow, you fill the transmission. You want a good steady stream coming out. Once it comes out, go ahead and put the plug back in. Make sure when you're putting the plug back in, it's back at the original 9 and 3 o'clock position. Now at this point, you can put everything back together and you'll be fine. Well, at least that's what everybody else tells you on YouTube. But if you want to do it right, the next thing you want to do is go into your car and start it. Let it run for about 5 minutes. Now they say to get it to 140 degree temperature. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of those laser thermometers and go underneath, and you're going to put the laser right here. You're going to point the laser right here where this red dot is at and wait till it reaches 140 degrees. Now once it's reached 140 degrees, go into your car with it still running, put your foot on the brake, and you're going to go from park to drive, wait 5 seconds, and then go from drive to park. Again, you're going to go from park to drive, wait 5 seconds, then go to park to drive, wait 5 seconds, and then go from park to drive again. You're going to do this 3 times. Once you've done that, turn off your engine, go underneath and take that clip out and pour some transmission fluid in and let it flow again. And once you've got some flow going, go ahead and put the clip back in and you're good to go. Now it's time to screw in that fill plug back in. One of the things you want to do is inspect the O-ring. If it looks like it's worn or cracked, you may want to replace it. You can find these at any parts store. Now we're ready to put on the fill plug back in. Now if you notice, there's some holes in here that goes right through the screw. Now nobody talks about this. They tell you to go ahead and screw in that fill plug back in. But as I was looking at it, I was thinking there's a reason why this hole is going through this screw. If you notice where you put the screw in, there's a hose going in from the side of it. I think it's kind of like an overflow tube. But nevertheless, fluid must travel through here and go through that screw. So when you put the screw in, the holes have to align with that fill tube. So what I did to make sure that I'm aligned with the tube with the holes of the screw is I marked the top of the screw. You can see a faint white line. I took a white grease marker and marked the top of the bolt. You can see the white line. So when I tighten the bolt, I just need to make sure that the white line is aligned with the tube so it'll have proper flow. This is something important and something that nobody else will tell you on YouTube. I'm pretty sure if you don't have this aligned, it'll probably hurt your transmission. Okay, here I am screwing in that screw plug. Remember, this is made out of plastic, so you don't want to tighten it too tight. You want to get it snug, but at the same time as you're tightening it, you want to be cognizant of making sure that you're aligned with that overflow or fill tube so you have good circulation. I can feel that it's snug but not tight, and it's aligned, as you can see with this red line. Now we can start putting stuff back together. We're going to start out with the bottom of the air filter. We're going to slip it in. Then we're going to screw in our 10mm bolt. Make sure you're connecting the correct air ducting together. As you can see, I'm putting a piece of paper in here and then going to put my screw in so the screw doesn't fall out as I'm installing this one screw. Now we're going to install this plastic vent that goes on the side here. I'm going to slip it in, and then we're going to snap in those two clips. Again, make sure you're connecting the vent holes properly. Now let's reinstall our air filter. Now let's install the top part of the air filter compartment. We're going to plug it into the hose there on the side. Snap in the two clips on the side. Then go ahead and tighten up the 10mm bolt that connects the hose to the top part of the filter. Now go ahead and put your last 10mm bolt on the bottom there and tighten it up. Okay, it looks like we're all done. The last thing we're going to do now is just put that bottom engine cover on. Once you have that in, and as you can see in the diagram here, what you're going to need to do, you're all done. Okay, now that you're all done, you still need to know that we put in 3.5 quarts of transmission fluid in the transmission, but the transmission itself takes 7 quarts. So you still have 3.5 quarts still in there that are dirty. That's still in the torque converter. So what I would do, if you want to completely drain it out, is drive it for about a week and then do the same thing all over again, and you'll get at least 80% of new fluid still in there the second time around. That's what I plan to do, rather than spending $200 or $300 or $400 in doing a transmission flush. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was very informative. Please check out my other how-to videos. Oh, and check out my new website. There's new items being put in there every day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, hit the bell. Until then, we'll see you at my next video. Bye.